welcome to this new video for my channel, The Mental Traveler. I'm Coryne, and today I'm going to be reviewing a book called Queen Victoria and the Romanovs, 80 Years of Mutual Distrust. It was written by Coryne and it was published in 2020, and it's about 300 pages long. Before I begin though, let me just say that unless you're not aware about Queen Victoria or the Romanovs or these historical figures and you don't want to learn about them, beware watching the video. I'm going to be reading the book's summary in Goodreads because I really like it. Despite their frequent visits to England, Queen Victoria never quite trusted the Romanovs. In her letters, she referred to horrid Russia and was adamant that she did not wish her granddaughters to marry into that barbaric country. She distrusted Tsar Nicholas I, but as a young woman she was bowled over by his son, the future Alexander II, although there could be no question of a marriage. Political questions loomed large and the Crimean War did nothing to improve relations. The distrust started with the story of the Queen's aunt Julie, Princess Juliana of Saxe-Coburg, and her disastrous Russian marriage. Starting with this marital catastrophe, Romanov expert Coryne traces 60 years of family feuding that include outright war, intermarriages, assassination, and the Great Game in Afghanistan. In the fateful year of 1894, Victoria must come to terms with the fact that her granddaughter has become the Tsar's wife, the Empress Alexandra Feodorovna of Russia. Eventually, distrust of the German Kaiser brings Victoria and the Tsar closer together. Permission has been granted by the Royal Archives at Windsor to use extracts from Queen Victoria's journals to tell this fascinating story of family relations played out on the world stage. I give this book a 5 out of 5 stars review because I learned so much. I know a lot about Nicholas II and his mother and his wife and children, but I wasn't really familiarized with the Tsars that came before him. I knew a little bit about his grandfather and his father, but before that, nothing. And I also didn't know at all what happened when Queen Victoria's son married the sister of the Empress of Russia, of the Emperor of Russia. Their family history has always really fascinated me, so I devoured this book quickly and I never got confused about who all the people were, even if I'd never heard of them. And then I also knew the ending of many of the historical figures mentioned here, so it was harrowing to read about how Victoria fell for Alexander II very young, knowing how he would die by an explosion, for example. I also thought it was great as well that we get a lot of letters written by and to Queen Victoria about the Romanovs because it felt more personal to read their exact words about someone and something. I also have a thing for the Crimean War and the British Empire in India and the Second Afghan War due to the historical fiction novels written by MMK, so it was cool to know what the ruling houses of Europe were doing when those things were going on. It was also great to learn that Victoria was wary of her eldest grandson, the Kaiser, and even warned Nicholas II about him, knowing what would happen years later with World War I. And frankly, the writing style was just pretty good and the research commitment of the author was superb. I take my hat off to her for it, and I highly recommend this book to anyone interested in Queen Victoria and the Romanovs. Okay, so I've always loved history, and I've considered myself a royalist from a young age, and the British royal family and the imperial family of Russia are like my favorite royal houses ever. My real passion for them started when I was around 18 and I saw the miniseries The Lost Prince, and it could also be traced to Anastasia, the animated film, because I loved it as a kid. But yeah, over the last decade, I've read as many books and watched documentaries and movies and TV series about them as I can. And I even have these two big family trees I made of the British royal family dating back from William the Conqueror to Prince William's children. So yeah, you can imagine what I felt when I discovered that someone was as passionate for these topics as I am because they made a book about it. I discovered it on this Facebook page called History of Royal Women that was announced there. I instantly bought the book. I didn't read it right away. When I did it, I read it like 4 days because it was so good. And I am a journalist and an aspiring writer, so I think that if I ever ventured into writing something more historical than fictional, I would do something like this. Because Victoria and the Romanovs, you just can't get any better than that for me. Maybe something about the Plantagenets. But anyways, I'm carrying on. For the moment, I believe that this is all I have to say about this book. Thank you so much for watching my review of it. I'm keeping my fingers crossed that you enjoyed it. Please let me know if you did or if you didn't, as well as what are your own thoughts regarding Queen Victoria, the Romanovs, the British Royal House, the last Imperial family of Russia, anything that's relevant because I would love to talk about it all with you. Also, in the description box below, you can find a link to the Goodreads page for the book. And well, I'm Coryne, the Mental Traveler, and I hope you have a wonderful day wherever you're in the world. I'll be seeing you soon. Take care and goodbye!